Hello, and welcome to another stream of Boomeadow Builds. I hope you are doing well on this fine Saturday. It is wonderful to have you here as we are going to continue building a battle map for the Loglin Ferry. On screen is Theoware, the Feywild of my world, and Thalamir, the material plane, and Nethreg, the Hells, for those who haven't seen them already. However, we are building a ferry. I hope you're doing well today, and otherwise, get settled in for a chat. If you end up liking what I do, don't hesitate to hit the follow button. Turn on notifications so you know when I go live, but otherwise, jump in for a chat, say hi, all that jazz. So, once I have finished filling this map, I will actually be making this whole layer, getting rid of basically this whole layer here. I think most of this, to be honest. I might have to go around and pick all the outside though. Metal walls. I'll select the matching walls, and we're actually gonna make them all level 5, I think. Not only that, these windows. What are these windows called? Here we go. Glass windows. So for my map building, I use Incarnate. That is not how you spell window. But indeed. Put them down. 1, I think. Yeah, all the glass windows should be fine. But yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful weekend. Mine has been pretty relaxed. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a good start to a weekend. Excuse me. Pretty sure it is set to question is, should this be in line with the wall? Or should it be flush? So like so. Or do we like the slightly portholey look? Fill in that little patch there. Put these windows in. Then we can fill up the different rooms here. So these are the sleeping quarters on the Loglin Ferry. Now, Loglin is in the Ascendant Islands in the Court of Lightning. They are called the Ascendant Islands because they are floating islands. And the reason that they float is because of a meteor crash that actually changed the topography and the physics of the actual land. But that is going to happen when essentially a prison moon, basically, that is basically one with the race of people who created it mentally, kind of happens. It was a lot of psychic energy, sort of psychic magic kind of thing, because within my particular setting, the spirits that bond with the Kalashtar are actually aliens, not just dreamscape monsters. Which we may end up actually getting to see more of this kind of lore and the backlog of history of that race of people, because one of my wonderful players who will actually be in the campaign, the wonderful Zegent, will actually be playing a Kalashtar. And they have a lot of interesting lore that has been created for them that is custom to my world. Yeah, if I'm ever talking about something and you're intrigued as to like the different species or the lore, boat spoilers, not really. These are going to be your quarters where you're staying on your boat travel, on your boat ride from Loglin to Corkwood. Which, do I think it is going to come to a combat on the boat? Not necessarily. Well, at least in the sleeping quarters, I don't know. But my thought is, I like to give my players a bit of a visual idea about where they are in conjunction on the map, basically, when they're talking to each other. So at least I can also keep track of where you all are. I believe you will be sharing with Hasa. So, which, it really all depends. You might get a big room, who knows? I obviously will let you guys decide that once we get into it. Depends on how much you paid, really. Because both Hasa and Bastion are from a little bit of an insulated community where they grew up, basically, because they are two of the very few players, at least, and this is just for anyone who is interested in the actual lore of this, they are two of the characters who, even though they are from the Feywild and their characters are from the Feywild, they themselves are still very heavily tied to their roots in the material plane. So there is that level to it. And how are you, Zegent? It is wonderful to have you here. Interestingly, we have a couple of characters who are going to be coming from the material plane. We have a couple who are from the Ascendant Isles. I don't think you'll get too many spoilers. I do try to still keep it pretty close to the chest because I'm aware that obviously a vast number of my players do come and actually have a bit of a listen and things like this, which of course makes me incredibly happy for their support. He does know things. He has his own little demographic of things that he is specific to him that he knows, and I'm very excited for that. In terms of what the other characters know as well, I mean, your character is very knowledgeable about certain things. And obviously I really like the race that you've picked because it is very it is one of the races or species in my world that does actually have a lot of external built up lore. Yeah, the group that we've got so far is a very interesting amalgamation. I think it'd be really hard to pick a boring race or a boring species in my setting. Most of them do have a lot of their own custom stuff, or if I haven't worked on custom stuff specifically for them, it is something that's like a work in progress. Like, yeah, I don't necessarily try to recreate the wheel with every character, and I do pull on a lot of those stereotypical fantasy tropes, I suppose, for some. Like, for example, the genie culture and things like this. They do have a long history of, there are rituals and whatnot that do lead back to essentially them potentially being used by especially the fire Ifrit, the Ifrit, because only the noble jinn within my setting are able to grant wishes. I haven't actually figured that out yet. I was mostly focusing on getting the boat done. Although I have been thinking about some very, very interesting things in terms of the weapons and armor and things like this. I think I talked about this a little bit on... I think I talked about a little bit about this on Wednesday. That, I've ended up having to reconsider the age of weapons within the Feywild and what would be available. Just because of the weapons age of the some of the other just because of some of the weapons age of some of the other realms, basically the other planes. So yes, I have had to have a little bit of a think about what I'm doing with that. Because it has actually meant that some of the offerings are going to be really, really cool. And obviously give you guys something to save up for, basically. Especially for those of you who would like to be for lack of a better word, mech pilots. Yes, I realised I was highly underpowering the Fae and what they were going to be able to do in the grand scheme of things against some of the other planes. You start with so much gold. You say that now until you see the cost of armour and weapons. Yeah, you say that now, but you actually haven't seen the cost of weapons and armour yet. And there are... I do have a tendency to try and future-proof my own creation so I don't have to do it later a little bit. So some of the stuff I'm aware you're not going to be able to get until you're definitely much higher levels than you are. Nonsense. That's part of the reason why you adventure, isn't it? To get more loot and gold and things so that your character can continue their adventures. Hi, Spinner. How are you? Thank you for the follow. It's wonderful having you here. Anna Nazrul, welcome. Yeah, I'm actually okay. Been very much hard at work trying to get the weapons and armor document finished for the players. Because we're about 3 weeks away from starting, so give or take, basically. It is definitely getting there. I think once I get the weapons and armor document done, that will certainly make things go a little bit more smoothly, I think. Although it is going to be very interesting having the conversations about like what kind of armor progression and all this kind of stuff that the players want to come up with. Bullet resistant armor. Well, there is capability for things like that. I've been going over a lot of different... Yeah, see, that's going to be a little harder. But if we're looking kind of basic, see, it is going to be hard to do like specific equipment equivalent just because of the age of the armor and weapons. Like, we have ended up being a lot more technologically advanced than I had initially kind of... So when I said that it was like the Feywild was steampunk, the problem was that I started to realize that by making the Feywild steampunk, which was absolutely fine in its interim, the issue I started to realize was I was giving the material plane nanotechnology, and the Hells is post-cyberpunk, which is like your Blade Runner-esque. So while I have a lot of faith in like the Fey and Elven abilities and things like this, as in the fact that they are significantly more more dexterous, more powerful. You know, there were a couple of things that kind of happened. I saw the new Avatar movie and I realized that, you know, obviously the Fae are going to be on that equivalent of, at least physiologically, able to outgun a character wielding a gun, if you pardon the pun. So they are going to be able to have those capabilities. Well, no, because they're not dealing with the material plane in the first session. So, but I realized that I needed to up the level of tech because, well, from a stylistic standpoint, the Feywild is... Yeah, from a stylistic standpoint, the Feywild is steampunk, at least in some of their looks and aesthetic, about being more naturalistic. but they are straight up Arcana tech. Well, and that's the thing that I started to realize. So I started looking into some documents like the Ultra Modern and things like this, and I kind of realized that the tech level of where we are in the world is magic and science are pretty much the same thing at where we are in the setting, basically. And so because of that, it meant that I had to make the capability of what you guys were going to be able to use to basically stand up to, that had to stand up to basically, somebody who gets, nanotechnology. Especially since that's what, if/when you eventually deal with people in the material plane, basically that's the playing field you're working on. And, I love the idea and the concept that there are going to be some of you who were raised in relative shelter because the war isn't in, at least to your character's knowledge, the war isn't in the Feywild. So your characters have been relatively sheltered. So on one hand, I am aware that there is going to be the, oh God, this is how bad it actually is. And also, I also want you guys to be able to feel like, badasses. So, the fact is, so some of the armor is straight up exoskeleton style suits. Different style mech armors and things like this. All these capabilities, basically. Thank you, Tide Runner. I will save for you. Yeah, so I've been having a bit of a talk about it. Obviously, I still want to make their weapon choices and stuff for people who do want to take, your melee weapons and things like this. But, as in the shoes, I don't see why not. It would make perfect sense that Crocs exist. I mean, if you really want nanotech Crocs, what technology would nanotech Crocs be utilizing though? Let's be honest. Hi Ozwombat, how are you? Battle Crocs. I do like the sound of a good battle croc. Not much, Tide Runner. You haven't missed much. We've just been talking about the state of the tech in the world. Just because, as we've kind of talked about it, it is going to be significantly different than what had originally been planned. Yeah, a lot of the weapons and armor is actually going to be coming from the Ultra Modern 5E supplement as well. However, I am making some little tweaks and modifications, but that's one of the things we're going to talk about in Session 0 as well. Exactly how the tech kind of differs a little bit. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. I had seen that, and not sure what to make of it right now. Until we end up with more confirmation, there's not really much we can do. But at the end of the day, if I can't end up streaming it, that'll be disappointing because I won't get to share with you guys. But we'll still have an amazing game regardless. Yeah. Who knows? There's not much I can do about it yet. We just got to wait and see, I guess. Which I suppose is the kind of the same stance as a lot of creators out there in regards to the OGL at the moment. Until we get anything confirmed, there's not much we can do. Look, at the end of the day, like I said, if we can't stream it, we can't stream it. But we're still going to have an amazing campaign regardless. Yeah, it's not a popular take. I know that I've been a little bit stressed about it, I'm not going to lie. Which I had thought that if I ever do somehow release all these maps in this particular setting, I can very much, because of the level of customization, and it's a world, I can make it system agnostic. It can basically be anyone can play in this world and turn it, like, there are enough stories within it that we can create stories within stories. You know, a lot of those stories and stuff are not tied specifically to the mechanics of one game. I think Spinner's actually booing the whole concept of what's going on with the OGL stuff in general. Yeah. Just the concept of it, exactly. Understandable, I suppose. Yes, from what I know at this point in time, Tide Runner and Zegent's characters are going to be paired together because it makes the most sense for their characters. I won't give away too much of their stories just yet, though, because, well, there wouldn't be a story to tell if I told you all it now. I don't know about a two-headed monster. A two-headed monster would be a heck of a character to play, though. Hey, I need to set that as a channel point thing first. And besides, I don't think, Tide Runner, you need any encouragement to blow anything up. Why would I give him more fuel? Let's be honest. Keep those in mind for later. Oh, jeez. I mean, there's a lot that I let my players do. Do I think that they have ever needed permission to do anything? They don't. They also don't need ideas. I will point that out as well. Yes, no, they very much are the kind of people that really don't need the encouragement. Well, yeah, that's exactly it, because no one... There's a lot of speculation around this OGL about how it will affect things like Pathfinder, how it will affect the future of the game, obviously how it will affect, also how it will affect, third-party creation as well. Like, so much of my campaigns ends up coming from inspiration of third-party created stuff. So... yeah, I don't know what I would do without some of it. And, I love, so I've got all three editions of The Tome of Beasts by Kobold Press, just because I like the variety. And yeah, I'd be really sad if, for example, they couldn't create stuff anymore.
Me and met in high school in 2004.
And I mean, a great number of us, know Griffin Saddlebag and knows Griffin's Saddlebag. They also know...
It's the first one for the series ever, and me and Joseph met, like, I think, like, backstage or somewhere. Joseph came up to me and was like, yeah, it was the best set ever.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was love at first sight.
Yeah, and so there's just this level of no one really knows what's going on, because, yeah,
So
we all know Griffin's Saddlebag, we all know
as,
DM Dave and things like this, but there's also the level that some of this stuff might also pertain to TikTok, but unfortunately, until Wizards of the Coast actually come out in actuality with it, we have nothing that we can really do except just continue as we are. I mean, there are definitely other systems that I could easily go with as well, though. It's just part of the reason that because originally when I had discussed setting this, like running this campaign and setting this campaign, I had actually thought about changing over. I had originally actually thought about changing to, I'd originally thought of changing to the fate core system to do something different. And the hardest part is I'm just very familiar with D&D. It's the first... Alright, Tide Runner, have a good night.
So we kind of like just grabbed onto that.
Thank you. I will take that into consideration. A posture check. Thank you. And everybody, you know, keep hydrated, especially since summer is in full swing in Australia.
Holy crap, like this is a really good line.
Daniel's not just a vocalist. We wrote the lyrics and the melodies with him. And then after that, we made a beat.
And then we kind of like remixed our own song. We made a beat for it from scratch.
I was surprised when, like a week later, the guys had worked on the track and like just completely changed it from what we had heard before, what we had worked on, and everything just kind of like came
Yeah,
together.
I don't know
We
what
were
this
like,
music is.
gonna work,
It's...
yeah.
We released a track called Made Me Feel.
I normally use no copyright sound for their live stream, and all of a sudden they've just put on a kind of like a little documentary of the story of a specific song that they're playing.
We sent them over to Billy, and one of those tracks was On and On.
From a country like Estonia to have so much talent in such a small population of people, it's insane.
So yeah, this is just explaining like the story of it, but it's
We got some success.
not
We
really...
started touring in Estonia and abroad.
We were suddenly booked all over Europe. I remember we were playing in Amsterdam, London, Montenegro, Czech Republic, Latvia, Lithuania, Finland, yeah, a lot of places. The On and On track had like, I don't know, 5 million views or something like that. And then suddenly, all of my friends who were like having a vacation abroad, they started sending videos like at random places in Bali or in Australia. The song was everywhere in the world, and then the numbers just started growing, which was mental.
When it hit 100 million views, then it was like we were like,
Might
just
have
like,
to
dude,
jump across
did
to
you
a
ever
different
guess to have made
song.
something that could have gotten like 100 million views. So that was pretty mind blowing. Yeah.
On and On's been viewed over 320 million times on NTS's YouTube, and it's been used in...
I'm just
around
looking for
4.8
different
million videos,
packaging.
and which means that in whatever format, in whatever
Yeah,
video
no,
format the
I
song has
understand
been
that.
used or heard or seen
And
over,
yeah,
like,
that's one of the
7.2
reasons
billion
why,
times,
you know,
which is
over
almost
the
entire
progression of the
population of the
story,
world,
this is
which is pretty
it's
nuts.
kind of made a bit more sense for... It's made a bit more sense for the campaign to go a bit more modern, follow the technology, go with it, change it. So there is definitely going to be a learning curve for me. Yeah, there is definitely going to be a learning curve for me with this particular campaign.
The amount of
Just seeing
the amount of
the
feedback we've gotten to this track. just what it means.
Just
to
seeing
people,
the
you know,
level
like
of,
hearing people's stories of how they connected with this
technology
song, what it
and
means to
stuff.
them, that they've literally listening to it like every single day.
Shout out to Cartoon for producing one of the best songs on NCS, and Daniel Levi for being a phenomenal vocalist.
Thank you, Cartoon and Daniel Levi, for making such an incredible song. Keep it up. I want to hear more. You guys are awesome.
I'm assuming this is going to be over shortly. If not,
My lyrics. Honestly, it's such an incredible song.
The song is amazing.
On and On is one of my favorite tracks ever, man.
It really brings out kind of more inspiration for me. Whenever I run out of inspiration, I go back to that song.
We were sitting in a studio and
Okay.
randomly listening to the track.
I'm going to mute this and we're going to put this on instead. Just going to go briefly to some chill hop music for a second. Let me know if that's too loud, because it is very much loud to me. So please let me know if it's too loud and I'll turn it down a bit. And we'll just vibe with this for a second until they finish doing their bit that they're doing. So yes, we're gonna be a little bit chill, relax a bit. I don't know if I'll make seasickness checks. We're back. There we go. Bit more vibey. But yeah, I don't see the point of giving you guys seasickness checks or anything like that. I mean, the point I've done, and part of the reason I've made the boat so big, and this was something that I was kind of discussing and debating, that if the boat is significantly big enough, depending on obviously where your room is on the boat, will determine how your character is affected by seasickness. Well, that's exactly it. There are going to be, you're going to be on the boat for 2 days. But obviously there are going to be things that end up happening, obviously. I can't say too much, but I do have an encounter in mind that is at least going to get you working together. Or running and screaming, depending on what your character's kind of motivations are. yeah, that's one thing I'm slightly worried about. The floorboards are slightly flammable. No, you didn't, Wombat. Please, tell me.
Swear it's been 700 degrees in here since you came in. I could swear that this room has been running out of air, and now it's starting to spin. You make me feel kinda bad, kinda good, kinda everything, yet it doesn't feel like it should. You make me feel kinda wrong, kinda right, kinda anything, and I would change it if I could.
Just bear with me one moment. I will be right back.
Sometimes a disaster, sometimes we are free. Oh, you take the long way to stay close to me. I don't want another, I just wanna breathe. You take me higher, you stay.
Sorry about that. Oh no! Wombat, that's terrible! It's nothing worse than being cursed by the gods. What? Okay, you're cursed by the gods. What does that mean for your character, though? I'm assuming, well, your character died, or... I have to know more. Oh no! I suppose that does tend to happen a lot. It's either the campaign doesn't survive the PCs or the PCs don't survive the campaign. New character limbo. You can't decide what you want to play. Or you don't know how your character's going to come back. Okay, it's hard. Why is it hard? Is it because knowing that it's going to be a utility wizard and therefore creating things that are slightly different and having to hey, but that's part of the game, isn't it? Sometimes things don't go in your favor. And I'm sure that your character is going to be more than just a wizard. Like, I'm sure they're going to be good at other things, right? What are you thinking for his story? Or their story, should I say? Thank you, Evil One. I will do so. It's always good to have a save. I love that. Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever really ready for their character to die. Well, it makes sense then. Because if you're going to, like, there are always going to be people who try to monopolize, so why not? Do I have a captain for this boat? Why do I feel like I'm going to regret saying this? But no, not yet. I'm gonna regret saying that. Yes, you can buy that NPC if you so choose. I am scared of what you're going to do with it though, evil one. You're going to make me regret this, aren't you? Because I can hear you thinking from here.
can't turn down the noise, tear all the words out of my mind about who I'm supposed to be. I start to believe I can't get it right. Remember the days I let slip away, they were simpler times. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, child, don't forget who you are. Don't
Should I be concerned, Evil One, that you've gone very quiet?
on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon.
No.
Dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Be my compass
I don't
around.
need to see what's in
I'm
there.
still on my way closer to where I belong. I'm still rolling the dice, praying sometimes it don't last that long. I'm losing my faith, I'm walking away from what you knew all along. Mama told me before you leave, if there's only one thing you remember from me, child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. I bet my life you'll be dancing on the moon. Dancing on the moon. Child, when you're out on your own, a million miles from home, feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders. Child, don't forget who you are, don't lose your head or your heart. I'll bet my life on your stars, you'll be dancing, dancing on.
Yeah, of course the world has plumbing by now. Yeah, the oozkin was a thing. Although, personally, one of my favourite is the gummy bear race. So much potential in the gummy bear race. I don't know if I can squeeze through plumbing. Okay, I will make a note of that, evil one. Yeah, I don't think they can squeeze into... I don't think I can squeeze into things like that, but they can squeeze themselves into almost any armor. I mean, except morality, but then I suppose this is exactly why we have town guards and lawmakers. Do we have a particular colour of cobalt? Tell me a little bit more about James Mason. Captain James Mason, the kobold. Yeah, cobalt colour. Well, I suppose that is the question, isn't it then? What morals does an amorphous blob have? Yeah, see, no, we don't work with the they are cobalt coloured because kobolds come in every colour of the metaphorical draconic rainbow. So, what colour? No, every colour of the rainbow, not rainbow coloured. Yeah, I like a character to be fleshed out though. He is not being a Skittle. We're not making a kobold Skittle.
For the opposition, we don't do this for mass appeal. Don't make me blast it still. I put in work, no fly in the mirror. They want me to lose, but I can't. Mama shed like 1,000 tears. I can't do that to waste. I pull up in Mercedes. Next year, you gon' see me pull up in the red.
Okay, vermilion, so red.
Make sure you tied your legs. When I was down bad, boy, I got on my knees and I started to pray. Now I'm breaking bread with my young Betty Wiz. You was a part of the game.
Do you have any specified traits that you want Captain James Mason to inherently have? He's a reddish. Okay. Yeah, any traits that you would like him to inherently have? Obsessed with making money. Okay.
my cash is long. I hit the gas, I'm gone, riding my wave. I've been stuck in my zone, I'm gonna blast them all. Sliding on faith, I've been finding my ways, grinding for days.
All right.
All of y'all wanted for praise, stuck in a phase, let it turn it a blaze. Yeah, homie, you don't wanna race now. Better to stick to your place. Yeah, want it all, I gotta taste. You push on the pedal, now I gotta skate. Yeah, all I ever known, put me on this throne, pinnacle. Push my buttons and that motherfucker go. What you know, what you own. Push it and I zone. Sonic booms for the room, running till the tomb with my goons. Motherfucker fumes, y'all know what it do with the crew when we coming through. Y'all know better move, make it fast. Ain't no second chance coming for your ass. Turn to ash, burning rubber now. Better push the gas like. I did a dash on my way to the bag, boy. You know I push the gas.
I like it. Very cool concept. I like them. So I have made a note of that. So the captain of the Loglin Ferry is a kobold by the name of Captain James Mason. just needs to go up just a touch. These are the Art Deco walls. And I actually just want to change them to... So hopefully that will mean that they will block a bit of light. This way. So this is what we've got so far. I don't think we need a brass altar in this room, do we? Well, we could. Would make an interesting plot line. Do this because get this one, turn it, okay. All of these things that I will have to put light sources on when we play with it in game. On earth is a chandelier. No. I'm looking for some very specific things at this point. Do we have an empty crate? This works. Okay, we've got one with potion bottles and things like this. And it is just a lot of this placing stuff. Hi, Hunt's Lantern. How are you? Well, I mean, if this is a bigger bed, I agree. But even in retrospect, thinking about it, like, most double beds, like a queen size bed, is still just like, it's either just under or just over 5 feet across. So, and the reason I've made it longer is because, yeah, there are species in the world that are at least 8 feet tall. So it would make sense that they make the beds longer, not necessarily wider, but it's probably why I've made the beds a little bit wider as well than you would atypically have as well. But yeah, so this bed is easily like 8 feet long. Because the last thing you would want, because in my world, for example, the closer an Asima is to their angelic bloodline, the closer they are to 8 feet tall, basically. So they can be anywhere between 6 to 8 feet tall in my world. How are you this evening anyway, Hunts Lantern? It's great to have you here. I'm a little disappointed that nowhere in here, for the sake of it, I have to do this. Let me see, I gotta make it bigger so I can see what I'm doing first. Up the saturation. Yeah, that is exactly the problem. And this is why, you know, I'm sitting here doing this now. Will my players ever see it? Probably not. I'm a little disappointed. I need to see if I can find a trench coat. Yeah, that's exactly what you're right about that, though. Will your players ever see it? Probably not. Will it bother you if it's not there? Yes, most definitely. No, I need to do that. There we go. Okay. Yeah, this map specifically will most likely only be used to show where the players are on the map. Will it stop me from putting it in? Probably not. Could I be spending more time on the actual... could I be spending more time on the actual part of the map that they're most likely to utilize as a... that they're most likely to utilize as a battle map? Yeah, I should probably spend some time on that. Oh, that's exciting. It's fun getting to play. I really enjoy playing. I'm actually playing, well, it'll be tomorrow for me, in a Star Wars campaign over on Evil One's channel. Evil One is a wonderful friend of my channel and a moderator, and a lot of the time he is my GM for games and things like that, because most of the games you can find me in are over there on his channel. We have a Power Rangers game, we have a Star Wars Fantasy Flights game, we also have a Grung game. It is an all Grung D&D campaign that's very pop culture. And I believe there may be an Alien game this year and a Vampire the Masquerade game that he wants to run as well. Yeah, it's hard, and that is exactly why, Hunts Lantern, that I actually started doing this. Streaming my map building, because it forces me to sit down and map build, basically. Otherwise, I would always find something else that I could be doing. And then I would never have maps for my campaigns. Which, I mean, I can do what a lot of DMs do and just make it up, but... See, mine isn't so much ADHD as there are other things that I would prefer to be doing instead. But that being said, I do quite enjoy the map building process. It's just, I end up thinking to myself that there are other things that I could be doing instead, basically. Like working on the world lore, working on the story. And if you have been around my channel or you've ever stopped in on my channel, you will know I have a metric butt ton of lore for this world. absolute ludicrous amount of lore, because this campaign, well, the world setting itself has taken me 6 years to build, and we've played. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so it's taken 6 years to build, but I've run several different campaigns in it. I'm here for it, by the way, Evil One. I agree. Sure. You know that I'm okay with it. The thing you sent me. And not only that, knowing that there is a whole town of gummy bears, I can see where you're going with this. That's all I can say, Evil One. Yeah, no, that ends up happening. That does end up happening, Hunt's Lantern. I actually have a number of generators that I actually use, so that I end up getting a lot of diversity, at least in the names. And so all of the NPCs, so when my players come into a town, all of the NPCs, as you would expect, are already laid out in the world. But I also want them to be people. And so, you know, they could go to the merchant store and talk to the merchant there. And, you know, I can open up their little tab I have for them, and I know if they're in a relationship, married, single, widowed, all of that kind of stuff, yeah. It helps. Well, this is the thing. It doesn't matter if you find a name that you can actually pronounce, because I can guarantee you, your players will still find a way to butcher it. Like, so in our Tuesday campaign, we have, they're playing a game of Zorvental, and there are a whole heap of exarchs. And the exarchs are basically people who are working with the gods. And one of them, who worships the god of creation and kind of is doing his, like, helping him win his part of the game. Everyone's name is Tim. Yes, I love it. Yeah, no, I had done a whole heap of lore into this god that I'd used and all this kind of stuff, and I was really super proud of it. And her name was Astra Genesis. Well, we started playing this game in 2020, so you can guess what everyone calls her with a name like Astra Genesis. It's very frustrating, but we've also ended up with some really funny things as well, like different town names. Like, for example, there is a town or a city of Bob in every circle of hell. It's one of the reasons why I opened up the game, you know, so that people could name. Well, that's the other thing about your towns, Hunt's Lantern. If you stream yourself doing them, like I do, you can actually open it up. Astrogenesis. No, they call her AstraZeneca. So, because of course they do. Which is a type of vaccine that we have here. So, I don't know if it's everywhere, but yeah, in Australia it is. To the good old situation that happened and is still happening. I don't know how much Twitch goes on about kind of keeping an eye on that kind of thing. So, but yeah, so no. But yeah, by streaming it as part of my channel points, I do actually let people name towns, name NPCs, you know, And I'd give them a hell of a lot more free reign to do so, but some of my players come up with very interesting concepts and names, and so yes, it's a really good way to do it, but at the same time, you know, like even today, Evil One has actually created the captain of the ship. Yeah, I've actually given a lot of options for this, and one of my players, Valcor, is a little salty with me. Because when I give them 136 playable species and sub-races to choose from, he just wants to play everything. In the end, Valcor has settled on a Raken ranger, an urbanite ranger who has an ability called parkour, a grey dwarf fighter. Ooh, interesting. I like the sound of it. A grey dwarf fighter. Yeah, I like that. Actually, if I go like this with the bird. Yeah. I simultaneously love and am wary of Rune Knight from a personal perspective. Having seen it as a player, love it. As a DM, it's interesting because I play with one player, the wonderful Zephyr, who is playing a Grung Rune Knight, and it is sheer chaos and it's fabulous. I also have Tide Runner, who wants to take levels in Rune Knight with a giant basis in our Tuesday game. And I'm interested to see how that's going to work out, basically. That's all I can say. But anything's possible, so let's go. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I can understand that. Yes, gotta remember the layers when you're putting these in, and I frequently don't remember to do it correctly. You gotta build, just like all kind of things, you gotta build from the bottom up. Unless you're cleaning, then it's cleaning from the top down, but, you know. I think that is... What are you? Oh, you're a light. Why is there a light out there? I don't know. Either way. I might bring these just up a touch in terms of opacity. There we go. Okay, do a save. Otherwise, Tide Runner will be back in here yelling at me. But yes, at the moment, my party is comprised of the Raken Urbanite Ranger, a Titan-born Asimar Paragon, a Simic Hybrid Alchemist, a Kalishtar Warlock, and a Tabaxi, a Hairless Tabaxi Warlock as well. So, I think that's everyone. No, I think that's everyone so far. There is one, potentially two I'm waiting on, but we just have to wait and see. Now that we've done this, okay, what are these doors? They can all go down to one. Okay. 9 of you. Yeah, 9's a lot. 9 is a lot of people. But at the same time, I think the most I've ever run is 8. I know friends who have run 12, but then that is absolute insanity. Yes, absolute insanity. Okay, and here's where the problem lies. We've got all of this. noticed. Well, that isn't gonna do. Needs to go up. But I don't think it can. Okay. I think what I'm going to have to do. Okay, first of all, save these changes. That's always a possibility. But you never know. Some people end up really loving it. And 9, while busy, can lead to some really great stuff. But yeah, if they just aren't getting into it or whatever, I can also understand that too. I've never understood sticking around in a game if you're just not feeling it. Yeah, I just don't understand, really. I'm just saving this to my computer. Do the quick save. Because I'm gonna have to change this underneath. Take that away. I mean, that's different though, because not everyone shows enjoyment and excitement the same way, and that's okay. It's more of a case of I've never understood sticking in a game if you're genuinely not enjoying yourself. Like, it just kind of confuses me a little bit. And I know that we all play for different reasons and things like this. It just... I suppose to a certain extent, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I understand playing because your friends are playing and things like that, but I suppose the big difference for me is obviously participation. If you're participating and everyone's having fun, then what does it matter? You know, it doesn't matter what I or anyone else thinks. It's more the people who are there. For me, the one that frustrates me is the people who show up to game every week and end up spending all game, and especially because I run a lot of online D&D, who end up spending all game playing a different game on their computer and barely interacting. Like, I don't understand being there. Yeah, like, why waste everyone's time if you're not going to participate? And I suppose that's the bit that I don't understand more than anything. So yeah, I don't understand showing up but not participating. Now, this is going to be difficult, this one. one's actually going to come. They're going to come up. So better. Put that up. I suppose the big thing comes down to, and this is obviously a big caveat that I've kind of adhered to. Obviously, checking in with your players is important. And if they legitimately say that they're enjoying themselves, I'm not going to sit there and police that they're not having fun the right way, if that makes sense. Because, you know, everyone has fun a different way. But it's, yeah, it does. I have had some players in the past that I've kind of just looked at and I'm like, why are you playing? And then, you know, they have turned around and said that they weren't happy, that they weren't enjoying themselves, that, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, everything I've done is a problem. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you just say something? Yeah, it affects the morale of the table, exactly. And at that point, you're like, well, what's the point in trying anymore? You know? It's just like, if you are really not feeling a campaign, or you're just finding that it isn't gelling with your particular style that you look for in a campaign, or you feel that the game's just not for you, it is absolutely 100% okay to walk away from the table and just be like, yeah, like I had fun for the games that I was here. It's just, it's not really me. And it is a-okay to say that. Yeah, I'm a big advocate. No, I will never say that there is bad D&D. I think there is a game for every person, and not every table is for every player. Nor should it be. I think that's a big part of the joy of D&D is when you find a table that just gels with you and the way that you like to play. It is absolutely phenomenal. But it is one of those things. Oh, see, this is the thing. If anyone ever turns around to you and says, yeah, but I want you to be like Matt Mercer, well, turn around to them. It is an adequate response to turn around to a player like that and say, okay, well then I expect you to be like Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson, Travis Willingham, Sam Riegel. If you want me to be like that as a DM, I expect you to be like that as a player. And this is what a lot of people don't remember about Matt Mercer is Critical Role is so good, not just because of Matt, but because of the players he has. And yeah, Travis can be a himbo. That's okay. Because not everybody at the table has to be a genius, but even then, over the last few years, Travis has grown as a player as well. You know, everyone is a new player at some point, and everybody has their niche that they like to act out. You know, but the point is, regardless of how much of a himbo Travis might have been as Grog, he played that character. He embodied the character. He voiced the character. He leaned into it. You know? And that's the thing. And if you are going to expect that level of work from your DM, you better be giving the same energy back as a player. With the caveat as well, yeah, the man is a genius character creator. But the other thing I think a lot of people forget as well is, oh yeah, Matt does all these voices. I should hope so. It's his job. Not only that, he's had to have a lot of training and all of this kind of stuff as well. You know, he probably has a voice coach so that he can work on accents, so he can work, you know, all of this kind of stuff. No one is just brilliant at everything. And you know, he puts a lot of time and effort into his campaigns, and he focuses on the things that he enjoys. He's a brilliant storyteller. I will never say that he's not, you know, but I also know, oh yeah, Evil One, who's one of the moderators here on the channel, he likes Brennan Lee Mulligan as well. Yeah. And this is the thing, there are some brilliant D&D out there, and not everyone has to play super serious, not everyone has to play grimdark, but that's the wonderful thing about the D&D community as a whole. There is something out there for everyone, and I think, and that's why, you know, and this is exactly why I turn around and say there is no such thing as bad D&D. It's just incompatibility. There's no such thing as a bad player. Again, just incompatibility. A player that doesn't mesh at your table, that's okay for them to not mesh at your table. For them to destroy your table, that's not okay. Yeah. See, I've always enjoyed storytelling, but one thing that I find that I really enjoy about D&D as a whole is the thing that I enjoy about D&D as a whole is the fact that it's what you can create, basically, and the fact that it's collaborative. You know, I adore the aspect of D&D, the fact that it is a collaborative process, that you can yeah, it's a collaborative process that you can build with people. Yeah, there is no such thing as a bad idea in D&D. Is every idea going to work? No. But is every bad idea bad? Also no. You know, sometimes you gotta try the crazy thing. It just might work. And, you know, I have played a character before who, I had a bag of holding, and only bad rolls. A bad idea is just something you don't try. Try every possibility, man, you know, because you never know what's gonna stick. Yeah. Try the crazy idea. You never know what's going to happen if you don't. And a lot of time in D&D, our characters only, well, if you're not careful, your character only gets one life too. So try it. Try the crazy roll. What's the worst that's going to happen? Yeah. Hey, for a base content kind of thing, I am a voice actor by trade. I mostly do audiobooks, like audiobook narration. And yeah, I don't practice my voices. Basically, you get what you get with my characters when I step out to voice them. And this is why some of them have really wild voices. I've kind of dialed some back as well, if only to protect my voice a little bit. Because yeah, I've had voices like this and all sorts. I've had very posh British voices. My Power Rangers character on Mondays has an American accent, you know. But my players will tell you my go-to for almost all of my NPCs is just a British accent. There's nothing wrong with that. Because, let's be honest, it's not about the voice. In a lot of situations, if you actually listen to a voice reel of a voice actor and listen to the characters that they voice, a lot of characters sound really similar. And it's just intonations and things that they've changed. Bring that up slightly. Bring this back across. But I will also do this and actually that's pretty cool. Yeah, I love seeing what voices my players are going to do for their characters. And we've had very like Puss in Boots style characters, and trust me, a lot of players do end up forgetting the accent that they were going for as well, which is okay too. Yeah. Growly voices are really fun. They are very fun to do, but at the same time, they absolutely kill me. And every time I think I want to do a character with a voice like that, I think, like, there was one time I had a character who had a familiar. And the little guy, he was like this little luchador axolotl. He was an NPC. And for whatever reason, I had decided the voice I was going to give him was going to be this growly voice. And I'm like, yeah, I'm really into it. I really love the fact that I'm doing this character with this voice and yada, yada, yada. Which was all well and good until the players realized that this was this character's voice. And then all of a sudden, they wanted to talk to him all the time. I tell you what, it was like swallowing razor blades. "10 out of 10. regretted it all the way. But, you know, this is what happens. I think there was one time I did this voice for like this pumpkin lord kind of thing. And yeah, so I had this voice for this pumpkin king. And I'm like, oh, sweet, cool, yeah. I don't know what voice I'm going to do. I'm going to try something and we'll see how it goes. I didn't know what voice was going to come out of my mouth until it came out. And the players loved it. And it was great. And I loved it. But for the life of me, I could not remember how to do it again. You know what? At the same time, though, you shouldn't have to start with the party at level 1. I will say that out. Yeah. You should always feel like you have a voice in your party. You know, it's kind of one thing that I've, especially this time around with this campaign, and I've started to realize with the current players that I've got, you know, I've really started to be very vocal and advocate for my players to have their moment, basically. Oh, yeah, no, and I can completely understand that. And that's the thing. And this is why, you know, I really advocate for this, is because everybody plays this game for various reasons. And those reasons don't always necessarily match up with what the party wants to do and things like this. But everyone should have equal time. Oh, I can understand not, like, so I'm not autistic, I don't have ADHD or anything like that, but I also understand social anxiety. I do have anxiety, and, you know, I also really, I really want the approval of my players. And, you know, because of this, it does mean that, you know, in the past, I have sometimes let some players get away with things that I really shouldn't have, or I haven't handled things the best. And, you know, now that I've been DMing a little bit longer and things like that, this is why I now really advocate that everyone in my campaign is going to have an equal amount of time. Everyone is going to get, like, everyone always in my stories have always had their own, like, backstory to do. And we will get to everyone's backstory. But the other thing is, even session to session, I want my players to focus on the things that they get enjoyment out of. And that includes, hey, if you decide to split the party, which I don't inherently punish my players for splitting the party, but if they decide to split the party and one person wants to do shopping and that's what they want to use their time for, then we're going to do that. Yeah, and that's exactly it. We want to... I understand I understand how difficult that can be as well. And it's one of the things that has kind of led me into some sticky spots as a DM. I don't necessarily always say things the right way, and so that has been a massive cause of anxiety for me throughout the years as a DM, because I've gotten really wrapped up in not defending my things the way that, like, not defending things the way that I should, or even standing up for myself for fear of being told that I'm a terrible person. And that has happened. And, you know, that's not me just like fabricating this, oh, you know, it's just a need kind of thing. No, I've been in situations where I have straight up had players and ex-players turn around and tell me what an awful human being I am because, you know, learn to say no. Exactly. There is a time to say yes and there is also a time to say no. And standing up for yourself is never, and I say this very loudly because this is something I've had to learn for myself, standing up for yourself and the things you care about and your other players, that is not toxic, that is not narcissistic to do that, to stand up for yourself. And do not let anyone turn around and convince you otherwise that defending yourself is a terrible thing, because that is something that has happened to me, and no one should have to feel like that, in my opinion. Learning to say no was probably one of the hardest. Learning when to say no and learning when to say yes and was probably one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn. Hans Lantern. Yeah, and some of my friends have put me onto some really, really good DM tips as well. One thing that I actually want to utilize this time around in this campaign actually was something that one of my players put me onto, which is the whole concept of rewarding curiosity. Because I don't necessarily like doing my I like doing milestone XP. I'll get this out in a minute. I like doing milestone XP because I feel like it rewards active roleplay a little bit more. But the problem with this, as I've discovered, inherently means, as I discovered, players don't necessarily always follow the story, and I've had a couple of campaigns kind of fold because I ended up feeling like I was basically telling the story and just taking them along for the ride. Why can't you both be lone wolves? There's more than one way to play a character, and if you want to go a lone wolf character, do it. Yeah, this... Now I can't remember exactly what it was, but this particular tip was inherently... While you have your story and everything like this, the thing that you end up doing is basically rewarding the player's curiosity. Create the world as they want to discover it, essentially. And so this means, you know, inherently that, so this means things like, okay, well, if they go look into an alleyway or something, follow it. Even if it's not something that you planned, follow it. Because that's the way that this becomes collaborative, and it doesn't feel like all of my work is completely undone or unnecessary. See, that's really cool. Yeah. I think the most important thing is and this is just for the way that I play, obviously this isn't inherently true for everybody. It is always better to play a person rather than a concept. So yeah, and this is, I love that my players tend to be quite chaotic. I think as most players are. But I think the important thing is your character at the basis of it all needs to be a person first. Because, like, it's all well and good to have, stats up the wazoo, but it kind of ends up meaning nothing if your character is so one-dimensional. Also, planning your character out from level 1 to level 20 without any consideration of how they're going to change through the journey they're going on. Because at the end of the day, D&D is a story, yes, it's about exploration, yes, it's about treasure hunting and all this kind of stuff, but at the center of it, it's the story about the hero's journey to a certain degree. And so if you're so married to this idea of this is my character and absolutely nothing will change them, sure, that's one way to play. And if that's the way that you enjoy to play, that is absolutely fine too. But it's not really a way that you can play with others, if that makes sense. Yeah, it doesn't. Leaving them behind for the greater good. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you have to leave them behind. If only for your own self-preservation. And trust me, I have played with people that have made self-preservation very important. See, I envy the fact that you can do that, Hunts Lantern. I try to do as much planning as I can, but my players end up being so chaotic that it doesn't matter. So, and I ran one particular campaign and we ended up calling it the Chaos Crew. Because essentially that's what they were. They worshipped a god of chaos, basically. Oh yeah. In running this Chaos Crew, I actually kind of learned that sometimes I just have to let things go, and like I said, learn how to say yes and. But I also understand that, like, I have such respect for DMs that are able to write it all down and have 5 situations and everything. I have such massive respect for you to be able to do that. That's all I can say. Oh, yeah. See, I know that I'm an overthinker and things like this, but yeah, no, not so bad that I have to have everything planned out. So I give full kudos to you to be that organised.
Let this be another knot to tie around my bed at night. I know I've lost the fight to erase your face, my mind. Awake, I lie here staring up beyond the sky.
Yeah, it is amazing how much a lot of parties inherently end up fighting each other. It is sometimes the most amazing thing to watch. Especially when it's something really simple too, and you are actively watching them overthink the encounter. That's pretty cool. I really like that.
upside down. Faces swirling past me. All my memories rolling vastly.
Yeah, me too. Food is a really big thing for me in my campaign, so yeah. I am always the friend that wants to bring the snacks.
If you're gonna cut me down, better do it quickly now. You can cut me down, but I won't stay for long. I'll grow back again. Oh yeah, my roots are strong. This is not forever. Folks changing like the weather. Cold, wet, and all around.
See, that's a cool concept.
In September. Cold, wet, and on the ground. You can cut me down, but I won't stay for long. I'll grow back again. Oh yeah, my roots are strong.
See, I like that though. Fighting a horde all of a sudden becomes delicious. Where did those copper pipes go? We will go down to 0.5. And it wasn't pirate the one I wanted. Pretty sure the one I wanted was... Was it Elven? The Elven Archers, yes, I think that is something that I do want. No, Mushroomy Wall doesn't make sense. I like the octopus detailing. seaweed masks are cool. That's actually probably a better angle. Can I shrink this down a bit? That's a bit better. We got there. Now comes the just playing around with it to get it to work. As much as I like this, it is not giving me the shape I want. Yes, Edwin, I am building a ship. Attempting to, anyway. This is the ferry to Loglin. Sorry, the ferry from Loglin to Corkwood. be fine as is, but
was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile. Was wrong to say I wouldn't change a thing, 'cause in the story of our lives, the best of times through color glass, time rolls on enough to let me move on past, but every little now and then it creeps on back to shade my smile.
now what am I gonna do for these pillars? Can't be wood.
Like the attention, girl, I know you. But you're everything I want in life. We're fighting danger like kung fu. The love I feel is deep inside. The others don't matter.
Actually,
It's honestly us against the world. We're the perfect team. You're my dream, but I just want it. Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? See myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? See myself? See myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? See myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? Can't you see myself? Oh baby, if you ever need a helper, you should know that I'll be there day and night. Nobody else can love you better. I'm here just to treat you right. You're the reason I'm
it'll be 3.
You're the only pain I can endure. And when you're not here,
Actually, yes, it will be. No, it will actually be on.
it's clear to see my love is bigger than I thought. I got everything I want when I hold you with my arms. Now there's no matter my love and my pleasure, the key to my treasure. Whatever's the weather, day up and out with you till I die. How many times for you I'ma try? Want you to notice the one and I know this perfect soulmate. I wanna show it my best friend. She saved my life, my happy end in hard
I
times.
suppose I could use this, because this is... The filters. This isn't what I want. I have something very specific I'm looking for. Yeah, there would be. Multiple kind of sword shops and blade shops in the world. They still use blades within reason. Why do you ask?
Chasing whatever kills. For so long, I forgot how it feels in the dark of night. Tabletop
Ah. That makes sense.
stone cold inside. Banging drops, dancers, never needing answers. We wander all alone, but we can't find the street lights gone. We wander all alone, but we can't deny the street light people.
They said, don't fall, don't forget all the things you've been taught, you've been told. Don't blink, don't run, don't turn
Okay, well, what are you thinking, Evil One?
at the sun. My mind's going in circles, I'm trying to fight it. Getting these voices inside to stay quiet. Going to the place where all this began. Just start again.
Don't think I can use that name, unfortunately. It's copyrighted property. Yes, unfortunately, I can use the concept, can't use the name. Yes, unfortunately, Inigo Montoya is a copyrighted property. Days of spell circles. Don't want spell circle. The problem is I'm looking for a very specific shape. Indigo Montana. We're getting closer. You've got to remember that I've got to be able to say it. Idingo Montoyota. Really? So that's what you want to go. Alfred Anemone? Is that what you want? Alfred Anemone? Sure. I have taken notes. The next town I build, I will put in a sword salesman for you. I have a feeling the sale might have to be something that I might have to put in post, because I don't think I'm going to find what I want, unfortunately, for the actual sale itself. So I think I'm going to have to put that in post myself, because I want it to be more of a neon, and I haven't really found the right shape for what I want. Okay. So we'll make saves. And I think this is where we're going to have to end this one tonight. I think. On Monday we will come in and we will just populate these couple of rooms. And then we will finish the final level, which of course is the bridge and just the final kind of layered areas to this. But other than that, we are almost done with this map. So we will see how it goes on Monday. I will see you all Monday if you decide to. Yes, Monday day. It is... I usually stream on Mondays from 11 a.m. until about 1 p.m. And I also stream on, I believe this week it'll be Wednesday night. So there is that as well. If you like the map streams, of course. So they are Monday, Wednesday and Saturday for the map streams. And then we have my Xbox gaming streams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And occasionally on Friday if I so choose to do so. But otherwise, I will see you all on Monday. Oh, the music stopped suddenly. There we go. Yeah, so I will see you all on Monday. And I thank you so much for joining me this evening. It has been absolutely wonderful to have you all here, just having a bit of a chat and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon or evening and or night, wherever... Oh God, you'd think I'd know how to do this by now. I hope you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining me. If you like what I do, don't hesitate to hit the follow button and turn on notifications so you know when I go live. Or if you're feeling generous, don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button because that would be absolutely fantastic for you to join our little community here. Otherwise, I hope you have a wonderful time. I will see you all later. Bye.